What's up, guys? Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Hey, wherever you at, welcome to Jamming with Jay Money, man. It's Monday, November the 11th. We ready to get to some money, man. We off, what I'm saying, from a little off day yesterday. Man, I'm glad I stayed away from some stuff yesterday, guys. It was some stuff that I was looking at, what I'm saying? I was out all day with the family pretty much, not even really capping games, but stuff that I was looking at, and I'm glad I didn't make a single bet, man. Some stuff that I was liking didn't come through, man. What you guys how was you guys weekend, Jordan?
Not bad. Weekend overall from Friday to Sunday, I kind of broke even. It was mostly my props that were hitting and my full game and first half and first quarter plays that weren't. But that slate last night, I almost laid two with Phoenix, and I laid off, and I was super mad after the first quarter that I didn't touch that one. And then I took Portland on the first quarter and the first half yesterday. They ended up losing those two and ended up covering the full game after a big overtime. And so yesterday was a story of, for me, mostly of what I didn't take was the right decision, and what I did take was the wrong one. I did get most of it back that I lost yesterday, though, thanks to seeing that Kyle Kuzma wasn't going to be on a minutes limit, and I faded Danny Green's points prop. He ended up going scoreless with a big goose egg, so that ended up helping me out on the under on that play. I think that was like at 8.5 points last night, so ended up just being a slight losing weekend for me, pretty much breaking even. How about you, Junior? What'd you end up this weekend?
Yeah, I was just telling Jay Money before we got on that I had Raptors first quarter, Raptors first half. I hit the first half. That first quarter was some nonsense. Raptors were up 6 with 3 seconds left. Matt Thomas, most of y'all don't even probably know who that is, hit a 3 and 1. So now I'm pushing. Sorry. So I'm so pissed off about that. Like I can't even believe that happened. So anyways, yeah, the Raptors are up 6. I'm covering them good. 3 seconds left. Matt Thomas hits a 3 and 1, misses a free throw. Raptors grab an offensive rebound, put it back. So I go from being all good with 3 seconds left to somehow losing that play. I hit the first half play, but I was 1 for 3 yesterday, so it was a really bad Sunday for me. A bad taste in my mouth. Ready to get this week off started right. Jay Money, what's up? How was your weekend?
Yeah, hey, it was pretty steady. So just to real quick, we're gonna go through Saturday the plays that I had. I was on the Mavs end up cashing, what I'm saying? They pulled away at Nelwyn. I did take the Grizzlies, end up taking the team total late, and Nelwyn lost that bet. Cash with the Pelicans, that was one of my main bets. I was telling you guys, 1-17, they was favored, man. We hopped all over the Pelicans in that spot, man. The Rockets blew the hell out of the Bulls. I didn't end up hopping on that one. OKC, that one ended up barely going over. I definitely needed that under there, but that one barely going over. And like I say, yesterday, man, was some crazy stuff. And I'm not gonna say too much about it because I mean, obviously, we didn't have a show. I didn't have any official bets, but I mean, you see, Orlando gets steamed from -1 up to 4.5, and they end up losing that game outright. The Denver and Minnesota game went way under. It went to overtime, and it still went under. Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins have played a big part in that game. They still end up losing by 2. Still covered that game though, as it, what I'm saying, closed at -4. Both of those played 40 minutes as well, Cat and Wiggins. And then you see the 76ers. Everybody was on the 76ers fading the Hornets. I mean, what I'm saying, taking the under as well. Under got steamed. That one went over, and the Hornets covered that one. The Bucks, I'm pretty sure everybody was on the Bucks. They got some crazy stat like 24 ATS or so, 20 and 4 ATS. What I'm saying, the last 24 coming off a loss. So I'm sure everybody hopped on them. That was the last game in the road trip. They ended up barely winning that one. The Cavs went over there and steamrolled the Knicks. A lot of people was on the Nets yesterday, man. They got their ass tapped, boy. By they let the Suns score 138 on them boys, man. If you had the Hawks yesterday, I'm praying for you, man. I am. If you had them plus the points, that was the right side in that game, and they go to overtime and they end up losing by 11. That was tough. And then the Raptors upset the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? It's 10.5 underdogs, and a lot of that under was getting a lot of steam as well. Got steamed down, I think like 4 total points, and that one ended up going over. And the Raptors, that was one that I would have took as well. The under in that game, I didn't think that the Raptors would touch 100 points, and I mean they were the one that came out. They held the Lakers to 104. The pretty much the best defensive team in the league right now. But that's enough about yesterday. Like I said, I stay away from a bunch of stuff. So let's look at the chat, man. That's Stu Chaos. Say, Jay, how you feel about Dallas and Boston? We're gonna get to it, man. T.O. Martinez. We got David Stewart in here. Mally Mal. We got Brian Watson. What's up? Alex Ramirez, Silver Gold. We got Tracy White in here. Ty Albers, Reese. We got a lot of people in here right now. Keith Sadler, what's up? Drew Churchill. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in for to the show. Y'all hit the like button if you don't mind, man. Stu Chaos said he was on Phoenix first half. That was a damn good play by you, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get into today's slate, man. A little light card, you know what I'm saying? Kind of sort of only 6 games on this Monday. We'll go ahead and get to this first one, man. You got the Pistons versus the Timberwolves here, and hey, Blake Griffin most likely coming back tonight. Obviously, he's gonna be on the minutes limit, but we see, you know what I'm saying, now sometimes a superstar comes back in the lineup and they don't really know how to play or really implement him, you know what I'm saying, into the lineup. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I say, the Timberwolves coming off overtime loss, you know what I'm saying, where Karl Anthony Towns played 40 minutes, played 41 minutes. Wiggins played 40 minutes, the third game in 4 nights. They're 0-4, the last 0-4 ATS last 4 in Detroit. This is somewhere of a bad spot for the Timberwolves. I need to see if they're gonna get Napier or T back. Right now, they don't have a point guard, man. You know what I'm saying? Detroit, at least they getting Frazier back over there. They have a point guard. I would have to lean toward the Pistons in this game. I hadn't made a bet on it, but it would be Pistons or nothing for me. Obviously need to see if D Rose gonna come back as well, but the line's gonna shoot up if D Rose comes back. I think it's somewhat of a bad spot for the Timberwolves here, especially back to back off for overtime game. I'm interested to see how Detroit is gonna look with Blake Griffin here. Any look on this game, Junior?
No, I'm staying away from this game. I haven't made a single play on the Pistons all season, so I just kind of want to see what Blake's going to look like. I think Blake's going to look all right, though. I think that with his injury history, I don't think that he's going to come back unless he's 100% ready to go. As for being rusty, I mean, his jumper will probably be rusty, but I mean, Blake Griffin kind of like, if at his best anyway, he's more of an all-around player. He can do a little bit of everything, so I think he'll be a positive impact on this team. And you mentioned something that Minnesota's just in a bad spot. So if I was touching this game, I would lean towards the Pistons because Minnesota played a tough game last night. Pistons haven't played. The Pistons haven't played. The Pistons are there waiting for him. Does anybody know if D Rose is going to play though? Because obviously that makes a huge difference to this game. I don't think he's going to play, but it's possible. I got too many questions about this game, so I'm kind of stay away from it.
Yeah,
the Pistons haven't played since Friday.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. There's just too much question marks in this game on both sides for both these teams. We don't know D Rose's status. We don't know what Blake Griffin's minutes are going to look like here, even though he has a great matchup. I don't think anybody on the Wolves are going to be able to guard him. One or him of Drummond could have a really good game in this one. So I think I probably would lean the Pistons, but for me, it's a stay away spot for me. The Wolves, they did play a game last night, but it was an afternoon game, so they did have a full 24 hours to rest. So it's not really a true back-to-back here early in the season. You don't know. They could easily overcome that against a team like Detroit here that has a lot of moving parts coming back in. They've been having success with Bruce Brown starting at point guard. Now with Frazier back, don't know if he's going to start. Bruce is going to go back to shooting guard, and they're going to shuffle things around their bench. We don't know just a lot of things right now. So probably a stay away spot for me. 6-game slate. There are other spots here I think we can hit. This is definitely not one of them though.
Exactly. And my biggest thing in this one is really the injuries for the Timberwolves. Because like I say, Napier has been out as their backup point guard and Teague is their starting point guard. If I'm not mistaken, Napier has already been ruled out. And then Teague is questionable with an illness. So he's been out the past 2 games, could possibly come back in this one, probably won't be 100%. I was looking at this total, and it's a little high for a Pistons game, but we know that the Timberwolves are number 1 in pace the past 5 games. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stay away from it. We see it opened at 224.5. It's been ticked down to, I saw it hit like 221 this morning, and then now it's back up to 222.5. I stayed away from the total. Like I say, I know that the Pistons are 8-0 straight up and ATS last 8 meetings versus the Timberwolves. So I mean, when I look at that, they've absolutely owned them as of late. It seems like Karl Anthony Towns is not a good matchup with Drummond. I mean, he's still played 41 minutes yesterday. It's not necessarily a good matchup for him. The Timberwolves are the type of team, in theory, if they had their point guards, they can run the Pistons off the court. But without their point guards, their offense has looked absolutely terrible these past 2 games, man. They still been trying to push the pace. They haven't Jared Covert, you know what I'm saying, run their point guard. So he's not, you know what I'm saying, he's a rookie at that, but he's not really used to that role. like I say, they made it close versus the Nuggets last night, but this is just one I had to stay away from, especially if Teague is ruled out again. They don't have a point guard, man. And it's a big. I think I would have to take. I gotta take the Pistons here, man. And D Rose, I mean, he's questionable right now, so it's still technically a possibility he could come back. I think he's been out past 3 or 4 games. You know what I'm saying? So he's rested up, like Junior said. They off 2 days. They've been off for 2 days. They're off for that loss to Indiana. This is a bounce back spot for Detroit. They have been playing well at home. I mean, they're 3-2 at the house, but I think there's a spot where they should be able to get it done. I'll tell you this, man. Teague is ruled out in this spot, and I might even take Detroit even with him in. They don't have no point guard play over there right now, man. They're looking bad. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, the Detroit get one of their point guards back tonight. So I might have to look towards Detroit in this spot, man. And hopefully before the line shoots up even more. We'll go ahead and get to this Mavs and Celtics spot, man. The Mavs, they 4-0 on the road, and you got the Celtics 3-0 at home. You know what I'm saying? 7 straight since the first loss of the season. Got Gordon Hayward, broke his hand. You know what I'm saying? He ran into LaMarcus Aldridge. Doesn't look like it was on intentional or anything, but hey, it is what it is in the game of basketball. Things happen. Gordon Hayward, you know what I'm saying, was averaging 19 points per game, was playing 31 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? For them, they were shooting 55% from the field goal percentage from field goal and 43% from three-point range. Man, that's a lot to miss for the Celtics. I know they've been hot here. Some tells me that the Mavs might come in here and make some trouble, man. KP rested last game. This game is coming back. I know they're on a roll here. If you look at the Mavs, man, they're 8-2 ATS last 10 in Boston. Rick Carlisle used to play for the Celtics. He seems to get up whenever he goes to Boston over there. It's his 3rd game in 4 nights for the Mavericks here. I know a lot of people going to be taking the Celtics here, and I might wait till the last minute and have to hop on the Mavs here plus the points. I think the way they can match up well versus Celtics here. First game without Hayward. It's going to be interesting to see how they look. Any looks on this game, Jordan?
Not on this one. This is one where I have looked at, though, and it's just really even right now to me. I think both of these teams match up really well against each other, but the big key for the Mavericks here, like you said, is going to be that 3rd game in 4 nights and how they're going to combat the Celtics here. But like with Porzingis being out last game and being rested, that does help them a lot. I think they are going to try to pound the paint a lot in this game, take advantage of the Celtics' smaller front line. We still don't know. I think Cantor is going to play in this game. I think that was announced, but he's not much of a defensive threat, so I don't think that really helps Boston in this one. I could see both of these sides covering. I think this is a really sharp line. It's probably and total. It really hasn't been touched that much, it seems like, other than the half-point tick up and towards the favor of the Celtics. But it's just a couple of teams that match up really well with one another. Tatum could play really good defense on Porzingis. That's a big question mark. I think that they have the horses in Smart and Brown to really put Luka Doncic in some trouble spots, maybe double him, force the ball out of his hands, force someone else to beat you other than Luka Doncic. Brad Stevens is very good at that and figuring out who your best option is and making you go to your second best option. So I think that this could be a game I'm staying away from. I don't really have a lean towards either side. It's probably one that I'm going to stay away from, just like Minnesota and Detroit.
Jordan, real quick, any lean on the total?
If I had to guess, I'd probably go over because I think Dallas' best option in this one is to speed them up and to try to get the Celtics into a back-and-forth game. But I think 219 is pretty sharp because if you're looking at the spread, it's an implied total of the Celtics trying to hit about 112 or 113 or whatever it is. So I think I'm probably staying away. But if I had to play, I'd probably go over.
Nice. What you got on this game, Junior?
Yes, one of my official plays. I've got the under. I just believe that this game plays towards the under. I'm sorry, the number's 218. So I've got the under 218 for a couple of reasons. I think that the Celtics right now, they won 7 straight games. They look like they're clicking. I think that the under plays. The fact that Gordon Hayward is out with an injury, that helps towards the under. And I just think that if you look at the Mavs and why they're successful and how they found success so far to start the season, because they're number 1 in offensive rating right now. Their bench gets them a lot of points. Their bench is averaging about 45 points a game, I believe, something like that, 46 points a game. They're second in the league in bench points behind the Clippers. And I think that if you look at the Celtics roster, the way that it's like defensively, they can switch and play a lot of different guys against what the Mavs have. I think the likelihood, in my opinion anyways, is that the Celtics find a way to shut down the bench scoring for the Mavs. I think Brad Stevens is one of the best, at coming up with plans on how to stop individual teams in different spots. And I think that he obviously sees that the Mavs rely heavily on their bench. Like the other day, Doncic and Porzingis combined for 66 points against the Knicks, and they lost because their bench, they only had one guy make over one field goal in that game, and that was Tim Hardaway Jr., who took like 15 shots to make like 5 field goals, right? So their bench gave them nothing, and even though they combined for 66, they lost against a terrible team like the Knicks. So I think that the Celtics saw that, which is a game that just happened recently, and that's the blueprint they're going to use, which to me plays towards the under.
Exactly. Yeah, you have a good point there, Junior. The thing that scares me here in the under is when they played the Spurs and the Spurs, sped them up, and they're like, okay, we'll play at your pace too. You know what I'm saying? So, and they want to put up 135 points on the Spurs there. I didn't see the Celtics being able to do that, to be honest with you, man. And so, they played at their pace. If you look at the Celtics, they have won 7 straight wins, and they're number 1 power rated team in the league right now. But if you really look at their strength of schedule, they have the second easiest schedule in theory. You know what I'm saying? So you saw that first game versus the real team that they played so far has been the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? And then they had a comeback win versus them, but it's kind of tricky capping this because no Hayward. Like I say, that's a big deal to me. You insert Smart, you know what I'm saying, to have more minutes than Hayward, and I feel like there's going to be more of a defensive lineup. So, and one thing that also does scare me is I know that if they shut down Luka or even stifle them, you know what I'm saying, with some defense and get them rattled, they will look like a different team. But like I say, I mean, the numbers don't lie. You had to look at the stats, man. They're 8-2 the past 10 over there in the Boston. They seem to play well. Carlisle gets his team ready to play his team. I mean, they coming off a 3-0 road trip. You know what I'm saying? It's the first game back. Maybe the Mavs in the first half would be, you know what I'm saying, the official be even a better look. We know they've been a great first half team. I could see them catching the Celtics sleeping here in the first half. Like I say, first game from a nice little road trip. They gonna be trying to figure out how to play without Hayward. I can see the Mavs being a sneaky spot here in the first half. No official play from me so far. I only have one play so far. If I make any other ones, you know what I'm saying, I'll tweet it out. But I'll tell you guys, I am leaning on the Mavs here early and in the full game plus the 4. I think this is a game that they could go on the road and win. A lot of people say they don't really have any real road wins. Hey, they've been playing well on the road here lately. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, 4-0 on the road this year, hadn't lost yet. So we'll see. Something's got to give here. The Celtics or, you know what I'm saying, the Mavs. Celtics been undefeated at the house. Mavs been undefeated on the road. We go ahead and get to this next game. I don't have a lot on this game either. The Grizzlies versus Spurs. We're just going to talk about it, you know what I'm saying, real quick. If you guys got anything on it. The Grizzlies lost by 32 to the Magic. They lost last 5 in the series. Let's see, this Tony Parker jersey retirement night, you know what I'm saying? This is they offered 20-point home loss. This is somewhat of a bounce back spot for the Spurs here. I'm not ready to lay this many points with them. Me personally, I think the Grizzlies are a fade team. I know they've been covering the shit out the first halves. Full game here. I don't like the Grizzlies. I can't see me betting on them in the foreseeable future. I think they're a bet against team, man. Not a big fan of the Spurs so far this season either. But like I say, Tony Parker retirement night, man. Little things you got to know, man. They could come out here and try to blow this Grizzlies team out. You got anything on this game, Jordan?
Yeah, I do, and I'm following the trend here a little bit on this one, but I have some logical reasons why I'm going with the Grizzlies here on the first half. The Spurs have been progressively getting worse on defense as the season goes on. They are a bottom third team in full game first half and first quarter defense. They have not been able to stop pretty much anybody. And a team like Memphis, they've already proven that they play up in pace because they've tried to do that here over the last couple of games. They've given up 124 points per 100 possessions in the first half. So this Memphis team, I think, is motivated just as much as the Spurs are. I think these are two motivated teams. I think you see the Grizzlies team that was missing Ja Morant in their last game. Now they get him back after he's resting. He's kind of the engine that makes them go. I really am excited to see the matchup between him and DeJounte Murray and see how that ends up. But the Grizzlies are a bigger team. I think they're better defensively at this point in the year, especially in the first half. You look at their first half defensive metrics versus their full game defensive metrics, it's a completely different team. And the Spurs have actually been worse on defense at home this year, whereas the Grizzlies have been better on defense on the road. It seems like the young team, you get them on the road without any distractions, they tend to lock in a little bit better. I think they match up well. I'm not too concerned about the Spurs being motivated in this one as well, although it does concern me a little bit. I just think the Grizzlies are one of those young teams that have been playing really well in the first half and collapsing in the second half. We've seen it countless times this year. It happened to the Bulls in a play I was on earlier in the weekend where they covered that first half against the Rockets and then just got completely blown out in the second half. I could see it happening somewhat similarly here just because I think this is just way too many points. I'd consider this one 11 points for the full game way too many. So I'm taking the 6.5 with Memphis here in the first half, but definitely not touching that full game line because I think they could if the Spurs come out slow, they're going to get an ass chewing in the halftime by Greg Popovich and come out and win this game. So I think the first half is where the Grizzlies hang in this one. So I'm laying the 6.5 in the first half, or taking the first half 6.5. Definitely not
you
laying
got anything,
6.
Junior?
Yeah, there's no way. First of all, how could anyone in their right mind lay 11 points with the Spurs right now? Like, have you guys been watching the Spurs recently?
Thank you.
I watched that Boston game that
Yes.
Jay Money was talking about, and they don't look right to me at all. Like, yo, LaMarcus Aldridge, like he looks like he aged like 10 years or something, bro. Like I was telling Jimmy the Bag earlier, and I was in this chat. I told him LaMarcus Aldridge look like he's aging like milk instead of like wine. Like he does not look right to me at all. I'm not even gonna be long-winded. I want nothing to do with the Spurs. I want even less to do with the Grizzlies. Even though the Grizzlies in the first half, that's been something that's won me money all season. So if I was gonna do anything, I'm not too against what Jordan had to say, but nah, bro, get the Spurs out of here, please.
Said in the first show, man, the Spurs are in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them whatsoever, and I'm aware of that trend as well. The Grizzlies been looking damn good. In the first half, they didn't cash the last one, or I think they may have cashed the last one barely, but I know they've been cashing them a lot lately. I'm not hopping on this spot. Like I say, especially if the Spurs are off of a win, it'll be something else. But I know that Pop's gonna get on their ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of laying any points with the Spurs team, but I don't bet against bounce back spots. That's something I very rarely do. And it's really not good that it's the retirement jersey night, you know what I'm saying, for Tony Parker. They gonna be up, man. And like I say, I do not think the Grizzlies are a bet on team. Maybe at the house, man, but on the road, I don't think so, man. This is San Antonio have a strong fan base, man. But like I say, that's a past game for me, man. We get to this Rockets and Pelicans game, a rematch. You know what I'm saying? The Rockets is favored by 12 at the house in this rematch early in the year. Only lost that game by 3. We know that the Pelicans had Lonzo Ball. He won't be in this game. You know what I'm saying? I was on the Pelicans versus the Hornets. They had me worried there for a second, and that's not good. I know it was in Charlotte, but I think that the Pelicans matched up very well versus the Hornets. And I mean, they were bullshitting around that game. Had to come back in the fourth quarter, and you know what I'm saying, and pulled away late in that quarter. But the whole game had me scratching my head. I'm like, damn, man, why the hell I take the 1-7 Pelicans? But they end up getting it done for us. You know what I'm saying? They 1-3 at the house. I still don't think they match up well versus the Rockets. The Rockets, I mean, look like they coming on. They 3-0 straight up in ATS last 3. I mean, they're not hugely coming on anything, but like they starting to come together a little bit. I'm not taking the Pelicans in this spot. I'll tell you that. This Rockets are nothing for me. Don't like they're a huge public team. I mean, 75% of people on them, they've been bid up from 4.5 to 6. I just don't think the Pelicans are a good matchup against the Rockets. I mean, they did show they could stay close with them over there in Houston, but I mean, I don't see who stops Harden in this spot. The Pelicans don't really have a player, a Harden stopper. You know what I'm saying? You still got to worry about Westbrook out there on the fast break. They seem like they come to play here, and if they start hitting their threes, I mean, Harden's been making them lately. He's been plus 67 as player efficiency in the last 3 games. So, and you see them going 3-0 straight up in ATS. They've been blowing teams out. Struggle versus the Bulls over there at first, but the second half, you see the Rockets when they want to turn their switch, they turn it, and it gets ugly real quick. And that's exactly what happened in that Bulls game. It was on the road. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see. The Pelicans can score with the Rockets, but if you shut down Ingram, if they put on Ingram and shut him down, hey, if they put PJ Tucker on him and hold him to around 20 points, it's gonna get ugly for the Pelicans here. They hadn't looked well right now at all, man. Any thoughts on this game, Junior?
Yeah, the Rockets have been a stay away team for me the whole season because they just don't give a shit about defense. But I will say this, they've been playing a lot better recently. The only reason that I'm not touching this game, honestly, is because I missed the line. It opened up at -4, but now it's like -6. I just hate when that happens. I don't want to get involved in the -6, but I would have liked to gotten involved. Sorry, on that -4. They got to do it against better teams, obviously, but I like this spot for the Rockets. Maybe I would touch them in the first half. Again, my problem is because they don't really care about defense and the Pelicans just go run up and down the court, it's still kind of a stay away for me. I'm more interested to see what happens in the Rockets' next game because they play at home against the Clippers on Wednesday. That should be an interesting one. But as for this game, I just don't like it. I don't even know. You don't even really know what the Pelicans are. They could score 130 points in any game, and the Rockets don't care about defense. So that's just kind of a stay away from me in terms of the -6.
Anything on this game, Jordan? One thing I gotta say,
two things.
The Pelicans, look, Rockets off day in New Orleans, man. Do we want to? Hey, they got strip clubs and all type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Casinos in New Orleans. Hey, do we want to mess with the Rockets after day off in New Orleans, man? You see, are they gonna come motivated here, man? I'm staying off of it. And Eddie Orler in the chat, man, said the Grizzlies lost by 30. What do you say? Lost by 32 to the Magic, man. Yeah, I know exactly, man. And it looks on this Rockets game, Jordan.
Yeah, a couple of things that stuck out. One, definitely got to go check out that Reddit thread of the correlation between the city strip clubs and James Harden's performances on the road. That's hilarious. And you're right. I think we got to play that into factors tonight. But two things I want to piggyback from what some Junior said and what you touched on a little bit, and then I want to drop a pick on this game here and see what you guys think, because the Rockets in the last three have played some really bad teams, but their defense actually has been trending in the right direction here ever since that Memphis game. Obviously not the greatest three-team sample size. We're talking about the Bulls, the Grizzlies, and the Warriors here, but at least they're starting to play Clint Capella a little bit more, and the more Clint Capella's in the game, that means the more defense they're going to have, especially against this New Orleans team. And someone I think that's being discounted a little bit for this game, especially with the steam we've seen on this total, is Lonzo Ball is not in the game. He's the main guy that pushes the ball for this Pelicans team. Granted, they still got Ingram. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. Drew Holiday's obviously going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. But Holiday's not exactly the fast break point guard he used to be. He's more of a half-court guy, I think, in this offense, especially when he's at shooting guard. Now that he's going to be playing point guard, I think he may want to set up the offense a little bit more against this team and maybe keep the Rockets from running up and down the court as much as possible. And with Ball off the court, we've seen the Pelicans' pace actually drop by about 4 or 5 possessions per 48 minutes so far this season. So we already know with Ball, they slow down. They're not going to play as fast with Ball on the court. The Rockets' defense has been playing better. I could see the under actually being a sneaky play in this one. It's a ton of points, and the second time around these teams have played one another first time, the scoring should go down a little bit. They could have a better idea of how to guard one another. If the Pelicans are engaged here with obviously with Ball being out hurts them a little bit defensively, but not too much, I think. So I think Josh Hart might, if he has a good game on Harden, and the big thing is if Harden's hitting those threes, this play is going to be awful. So this is kind of more of a lean at me at this point, but I am definitely looking at the under here at 245. I think that maybe the odds makers have gotten a little bit too excited here, and the public has as well, steaming this one up a little bit. I hear, because I don't think that's sharp money putting the over on this one here at all. I think we could, if the Hornets come out and play any semblance of defense, this is going to be an underplay, especially if the Rockets play it here as well. I just wanted to get your guys' thought on if I'm on the right track or not, or if I'm betting against two teams that could have 112, 115 possessions in this game.
You know me, Jordan. I love them sneaky unders, man. And I know this is the highest total. I can't bet a Pelicans game under. I just can't. I mean, maybe in a specific spot. I don't know. It needs to be against a team like the Jazz, where I know damn well them boys defense, whole starting five collective, you know what I'm saying, out there. Rockets, I've seen James Harden, and it's not many games that he takes, you know what I'm saying, seriously on defense. Maybe they face the Clippers or the Lakers, James Harden to get up. Other than that, no. Matador defense. I can tell you, though, James Harden never really played at a fast pace. When he bringing the ball up the court, doing this little dribble, doing whatever, he's not pushing the pace. It's when Westbrook is in there where they flying up and down the court. When the ball's in the Harden's hands, the Rockets are not pushing the pace. I'm telling y'all, man. You look at Harden, he ain't even really just built like that. He almost like a guy like me, y'all out there. You know what I'm saying, with a beer belly and everything. But one thing I gotta say about this one, it is the Pelicans' third game in 4 nights. You know what I'm saying? So they could take and one thing else you said, without Lonzo Ball, he was the main guy. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, starting point guard out there that was pushing the pace. Drew Holiday don't really push it like that. Drew Holiday is a defensive player at that. He doesn't mind playing in the half court, but the Pelicans, that's just their MO, man, is to go 24/7. That's what they do. I don't know. It's just tough taking an under with them, man. I gotta stay off of it. I got to. I mean, it is definitely a sneaky under. I'll tell you that. But maybe wait, you could even get a better line. Any quick thoughts on that game, Junior? I want to get to this Clippers and Raptors, baby.
Yeah, no. I already gave my thoughts. Let's get to the next game, bro. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I don't think he agrees with you, Jordan, on that under, man.
Sorry.
No, it's
I'll cash it by myself.
You know what
That's
it is,
cool.
bro? It's not even that I don't agree. It's just that total is absurd. So I don't even know if I would bet over that total. If I touch that total, it would be under. So I actually kind of do agree with what Jordan's saying, because 245, that's a lot of points.
Right. That's asking for, in my opinion, that's asking for one of them to get to 130, guaranteed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to stay away from that one. Let's get to some stronger shit that we on, man. Me and Junior got some strong shit, and I hope Jordan on there with us, man. You talk about a sneaky under. Let's get to this Raptors and Clippers game. Damn, man, the Raptors, they offense looked good last night, man. They went up there and put 113. Didn't look necessarily good. I mean, they shot, 46% from the field. Their offense, I mean, it looked a little better. The Lakers maybe just didn't take them as serious. No Larry, no Ibaka out there. Scored 113 points. I couldn't see it happening. There was a much lower total than this one is. We know the Clippers, their second unit scores a lot of points. Their first unit, not really a great offensive unit with just Leonard out there. He's pretty much their only scorer. So you got the Raptors, third game in 4 nights. No Larry. You know what I'm saying? They overachieved last night. Last 5 games, they've allowed 107 points per game. The Clippers have allowed 109 points per game. The Raptors are still 8th in defense. This goes with my system, a team on the back-to-back with the top 10 defense. I'm taking the under every single time. I've did it 5 times so far this year. It's went 4-1 so far. I'm taking it again. The Clippers sometimes scare me. They could go for 130 at any point. Some tells me they come to play here tonight defensively. You know the Raptors are coming to play defensively. They don't really have a whole lot of scoring options. They have to slow it down. Even on some of the fast breaks I'm watching last night, they slow it down. Oh, no, we don't want to take the 2-on-2. We're going to slow it down and get a good shot, run a play. I love seeing that. I knew I was going to be all over the fucking under tonight. Somebody ticked it up to 223. I appreciate you. Thank you. Take the 224 from me. I'm going to take it again. I'm on this under tonight, man. It's my best play of the night. Give me the under 223, Raptors and Clippers. Let's go, baby. What you got, Junior? Tell me something you like, baby.
Yeah, this is one of my official plays. I got the under 222 and a half. I just think that last night the Raptors scored, how many points did they score last night? 113. They got 43 points from Chris Boucher, Terrence Davis, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, and those Matt Thomas 5 points that lost me that first quarter bit. But anyways, that's not happening again tonight. The Clippers are going to be ready to play. Obviously, the Kawhi factor. I hope that it's Pascal versus Kawhi one-on-one, because I was really impressed with Pascal last night. Pascal Siakam's going to be an all-star. I think that seems obvious now, but if you knew what he looked like 2 years ago, to think that he's an all-star already or an all-star level player is actually really kind of crazy. But anyways, just to get back to this game, I feel like a lot of things play towards the under. First of all, the Clippers, even though their defense hasn't been up to par so far this season, it's not like the Raptors are an explosive offensive team. So the Clippers should be able to hold the Raptors down to like something like 110-ish. And I think that the Clippers are going to just come in here, take care of business. But the Raptors are a really tough team, defending champions. They got a lot of pride. They showed that last night against the Lakers. And they're going to come out and play strong because of the Kawhi factor. And I think that they're going to give the Clippers a hard time scoring too. I just think that every factor that I look at in this game plays towards the under, so that's why I'm leaning that way.
Jordan, this is the sneaky under tonight, baby. What you liking?
I'm liking where you guys are at in this one. This isn't one I had a chance to plug in the numbers on it just yet, just because I kind of went from earliest to late start, and I got through Golden State and Utah, and I was going to do this one next, but I just ran out of time before I had to jump on the show. But it's definitely one I was leaning under, especially earlier in the game. I think more than late, just because I'm really concerned about Toronto's legs giving out on them on the second night of a back-to-back after a tough game last night. Their defense is really good. This is going to be a game where if both teams have their legs all 4 quarters, it's definitely going to be an under game for me. But I think I maybe lean a little bit more towards the quarter and the half on the under, just because I think the Raptors will be more engaged. It's luckily not a back-to-back. They had to travel, obviously, staying in LA. So that really helps, I think, being able to stay in the same hotel, right, 2 nights in a row. But, yeah, I mean, the Siakam-Kawhi matchup is one I'm really excited to see because I think both those guys are going to take this as just I'm going to shut the other guy down no matter what. And I think it's going to be a clash of the Titans. If those two guys, the leaders of these two teams, are going at it like that on defense, the rest of the teams are going to follow. So little concerned about the Raptors' pace, though. They are playing a little bit more up in pace earlier in the game, but being without Lowry and being without Ibaka does hurt, I think, a little bit as well, but not as much. I think people are really, like you said, Jay, with the total ticking up a little bit. I don't think that's the right direction at all. I think some of these totals have been going up, like that Houston New Orleans we just talked about, that could very easily go under in this one. So definitely leaning towards the full game under, but I think I'd probably when I look at it, I'll probably end up being on the half heavier than the full game. I think that's just how I roll most of these times with these totals, though.
Exactly. I just got one more thing to say about this game. I'm gonna let y'all let you take the Jordan. If you got to play on the Jazz and Golden State, I lean towards the under in that game. I didn't end up taking, but one more spot in this Raptors and Clippers. Man, that last night's game was supposed to go under. The Raptors overachieved last night, but I'm telling y'all, people are coming to take them this plus the 10 tonight. I'm not saying it's a bad play, but I'm just saying think it a little bit more deeply. You know what I'm saying? The Raptors are not. They're not really as good as they looked last night. Lowry's gonna hurt them. Not having Lowry's gonna hurt them in the game like this versus the Clippers. I'm telling you, they're going to come to play. They've been off for 2-3 days. They're going to be ready for this game, and I'm telling you, a lot of people hopping on the Raptors plus the 10. It's that reason. It's that way for a reason. I think in the second half, you like the Raptors here, maybe take them first half. In the second half, I could see this one getting ugly, guys. So I'm just saying the Clippers are not finna lose this, and they're not finna do what the Lakers did last night. In the second half, I could see the Raptors not hitting all those shots they did last night, and the Clippers could potentially come back and cover that game in the second half. So just a fair warning, and no play on me for the Jazz and Warriors game. Because of the Warriors, they like to push the pace, obviously with D'Angelo Russell, but Jazz are an under team to me. Nothing under. The offense is bad or not necessarily so good and better at the house, but on the road, they're only averaging 94 points per game, man, giving up 99. You know what I'm saying? So they're an under team for me, but the Warriors are all the numbers say over for the Warriors. So any specific look on that game, Jordan, tell them when they can find you.
I'm leaning towards the Warriors in this one. That it's a little bit of chasing the steam, but also because of Draymond Green being back tonight, they got D'Angelo Russell back for a few games now. Their defensive metrics are going to improve with Green back on the court and Russell on offense. Russell's not a defender, but my theory is they're going to hit more shots, and so they're not going to be missing shots and letting teams get runouts and fast breaks as much. That's going to really help their defensive efficiency. And the biggest thing in this one here that I'd be afraid on the over is this one is just the pace of this game is going to be really slow. The Warriors have not been playing fast at all, comparative to what we've gotten used to with them over the last few years. Utah, we know, is going to play defense and slow this game down as much as possible. So, but if that does happen, if this game is slowed down and it is more of a defensive game, if the Warriors can end up coming to play with Draymond back in action here and playing well, they have some front court options to slow down this Jazz front court. So it really just comes down to whether or not those young guards can slow down the wing and guard players for Utah. If it is a slowdown game, if it is a lower scoring game, I'm definitely leaning towards taking the points with the Warriors here. I think I can still get 8.5 at one of my shops. It's down to 8 at most other ones. I think that'd probably be my limit, though. But right now, just a lean for me. It's one of those that I'm going to look into more here after the show.
I'll be quick. I was looking at the number. The Jazz first half, it opened up Jazz first half minus 5.5. It's down to 3.5 in some places. I'm thinking about Jazz first half just for the simple fact that in the last 2 games that I've seen from Utah, especially in that game against Milwaukee, they held Milwaukee to like 35 points in the first half. They've just beaten Milwaukee and the Sixers back to back. They actually look pretty good to me right now. How is Golden State scoring against this team? Like, I know D'Angelo Russell is back, but I actually just really believe in the Jazz defense. I don't really believe in anything about the Warriors. Yeah, Draymond Green is back, but I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to touch this game, but if I was, I like the way that this line has moved in favor of the Warriors. Jazz minus 3.5 in the first half is something I'm thinking about, but no official play for me on this game.
Right. Yeah, the only way I could look at this one is under, man. The Jazz past 10 games, 9-1 to the under. The one game that did go over went over by 1 point. Depending on the line that you got, that game really went under 2, opened at 211, went 210, closed at 209. So really past 10 games, man, Jazz been nothing but unders. I can't go against that streak. It's under for nothing me in that game, man. I'm on the Raptors and Clippers under the 223. That's my play of the day. It sounds like we all agree with that one. Let's lock it in, man. The play of the day. Let's all cash it, man. We appreciate y'all for coming in, tuning in, jamming with J Money. I know it's Monday, but hey, we still got to get to some money, man. Only 6 games. We told you our picks of the day, man. Y'all hit us up on Twitter if you guys need anything else, man, and come back and tune in with us tomorrow, man. We gone.